Well, we are just about set for kickoff here. Let's get you the starting lineups for these teams. We'll start with the visitors from Davis. You see him on your screen there. We talked about Austin Wenner, who scored in the last game for Davis. That was a 2-1 loss at Academica SC last Saturday. Johan Garibay, familiar to some probably in the Bay Area, playing in the West Coast Conference in goal. And as we said, looking for their first win of the year today. The Glens also trying to get back in the win column after losing their first match last time out.
One thing about Wenner is he is a player who brings in a ton of experience. He just transferred to Sacramento State. He was second on the team in points and goals. Also, in his first season there, became team captain. Just a lot of leadership. He's a player that this legacy team looks to really set the tone.
By the way, these starting lineups presented by Carlsberg. Let's flip it over to the San Francisco Glens. And in goal once again is Cooper Johnson from Indiana University. He's 2-1 on the season, just 4 goals allowed in his 3 games. The other starters, Dominic Valdivia, Diego Grande, Max Hamelink, Max Chrétien, who we talked about, Junior Mahi, another good player to watch, number 10. Joop Wouters, Cheyenne Charalagi getting the start on defense, as is Jack Singer, Ramon Munoz, and Lorenzo Hernandez. And we should make a note that the head coach today for the Glens, or the typical head coach, Gabe Saucedo, not here, a little under the weather. So the acting head coach is associate head coach Javier Ayala Hill, who has plenty of experience as a head coach, including for this San Francisco Glens team. We're going to take a quick break before kickoff.
There's more to Carlsberg than meets the eye. Through the Carlsberg Foundation, almost 30% of our dividends go to science, space exploration.
Let's just get the game started.
So no matter what,
I'm ready for soccer.
Always be beer. So, does this make our beer taste even better? Probably.
Hear the truck. I don't really know how that's going to work, but if you want to just read it at some point.
All right, we're about ready for kickoff now. A windy afternoon. They're ready to go. The San Francisco Glens in their green kits, and Davis Legacy in the white and red as we are underway. And the Glens moving left to right here in the first half.
One other thing to note about the Glens lineup today is that they are without outside back Nathan Simeon out of USF. He's a player who was super critical for the Glens last season, was again this season, took a little knock to the head last weekend. He is being held out just as a precaution. However, that's going to be a big loss for the Glens. Simeon is a player who not only is really strong defensively, but likes to get into the attack from the outside back position. He's really quick, he's super crafty on the ball, and he can swing crosses in on a dime. Simeon is a player they're going to be missing in this one, so it'll be interesting to see how this back line steps up and comes together.
It's a good note, and the good news is, again, from talking to head coach Gabe Saucedo during the week, it sounds like he's not too far away from a return, so we certainly hope to see him back on the pitch sooner than later for the Glens. See which way this is going. It's a throw-in for Davis. As we mentioned, the Davis Legacy 0-3 to start the year. Losses to Project 510, Monterey Bay, and Academica SC. But don't let that record fool you. This is a team that has some talent. They went 4-4-4 last year, finishing just behind the Glens in the Southwest Division. Of course, now both teams in the NorCal Division.
Another thing about USL, too, especially in the first couple of weeks, is that a lot of teams are without some of their strongest players as different players are wrapping up college. Colleges end at different times in May, players taking finals, maybe traveling back home if they're from the Bay Area originally. So that could be another factor. Legacy could be picking up additional players.
That one headed wide of the goal. And that's a great point, Kylan. And just from talking to the coaches, it adds a little bit of difficulty, both with chemistry and just getting guys in and out, as we're going to have our first corner kick of the afternoon for the Glens.
Corner certainly an area the Glens want to take advantage of. Set piece is something that Coach Cicero talked with us about being a key both defensively and in the attack.
Near post, in the air. And a pretty good effort just over the net. As Chrétien sends it a little too high, looking for his 5th goal of the season. He's got 4 in the first 3 games, including a hat trick. He's tied for 4th in the USL League 2 with those 4 goals. Nice play there by Hamelink. Max Hamelink waiting for some help. Valdivia steps up. Diego Grande into the box. And the Glens controlling possession early on here, looking for an early goal today. Well defended by Davis.
Another important thing to note about playing here at Skyline, you mentioned it early on in the broadcast, Ben, is the wind is a massive factor. Right now the Glens are playing into the wind.
Nice job getting back defensively. Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of these players are used to these types of elements, but it's really a wind tunnel here at Skyline College, and that can be a factor. So, as you said, in this first half, the Glens going directly into the wind. And that makes life a little more difficult as Jack Singer has some space in front of him. Singer plays it far side. Lorenzo Hernandez. Back for Singer. Singer played at Cal, now transferring as a graduate student to Virginia next year.
A little tighter in there, boys. A little tighter, a little tighter.
Hamelink spinning away. More good possession time for the Glens, and put on goal by Grande, handled by the goalkeeper Johan Garibay.
That's a situation where you wish Grande would have maybe got his hips a little bit more around the ball and been able to drop that back. The Glens had a couple players crashing in the box. Unfortunately, just couldn't quite get his hips around it, and it ended up in the goalkeeper's hands. But that's an area where Coach Cicero was saying his team really needs to be sharp in that final pass inside the 18. Now, another thing, the way the wind affects the game is that if you're going into the wind, it's very hard to play balls in the air because they often will go farther than you would like them to.
Collision just at the top of the box, and a whistle. And Chrétien down for the Glens.
Hunter! Come in a little more offensive.
Back now on his knees and able to get to his feet.
Hate to see that. Chrétien's certainly a player the Glens do not want to lose early in this matchup. Has scored 4 goals through 3 matches in USL 2 play. Was a huge factor for the team last season. Led the Glens actually with 9 goals and 5 assists last season, including 3 multi-goal games. He is really the centerpiece of this offense.
Davis with their first shot, and stopped by Cooper Johnson right on.
The challenge about going into the wind also for the Glens is that first it takes a little bit more energy when you're running into the wind. That wind is meeting you in the face and pushing you back the opposite direction, so it just requires a little bit more energy, and then balls are going to completely die out of the air. That can be advantageous if you're trying to play a diagonal ball or a ball forward that sometimes can die at someone's feet, but on the other hand, it can be difficult to read out of the air because the wind can completely change the direction.
Pretty passing for the Glens to get into the attacking half. Hernandez for Wouters.
Playing the ball on the ground is going to be critical when dealing with this type of wind, and playing into the wind.
That's a great point. That has to affect your strategy. Whether you like to build from the back or not, the wind doesn't really give you a choice. As Grande makes a nice move, crosses it. Let's see if the Glens can get a chance here. Crossed in front. Grande gave it a chance. Still loose. And Davis able to clear it high in the air and out of harm's way.
Those last couple of crosses were much better executed by the Glens. Just need someone to get on the end of one, but they are now knocking on the door here early on in this first half.
Well, we wanted to see how this team would respond after their first loss, 1-0 last game at Monterey Bay. And so far, so good for the Glens, who are attacking once again. That shot goes high and over the net.
Some good pressure by the Glens, really battling not only for the first ball, but the second ball in and around the 18. Now it's just going to be a matter of trying to clean it up on those strikes. That one just sailed way over, lean back, toe not quite down far enough. This is the area where Coach Saucedo wants his team to tighten up on execution. He feels like they're doing a good job of creating chances. It's a matter of executing when those chances come.
Glens 2-1 this season. Wins against Academica SC. Both home and away to start the year. And then, as we mentioned, a 1-0 loss on the road against Monterey Bay FC too.
And, you know, sometimes it is good to lose a match early in the season because that's what helps develop character for teams. A match like this is so important for the Glens to see how they respond to that first loss of the season. How do they bounce back? How much energy and intensity do they come out with in this game? It tells a lot about this group and the character of these players.
Well,
so far,
Divya,
just really nice passing here from Glens.
Crisp, and maybe an announcer's jinx, a little miscommunication there. But again, that's another thing that we talked about earlier, Kylan, in this USL League 2, especially early in the season. Your team is changing so much. You're getting players in and out, finishing their school years. So I think character, chemistry are things that coaching staffs are looking for, especially early. Here comes Davis with perhaps a chance. Left side, and a nice defensive play as Jack Singer was able to get his foot on it. It'll be a corner kick for Davis.
When you're a team like the Glens that possesses a lot, you have to be super careful about not getting too much out of shape and getting behind to prevent counterattacks. That's one thing Davis Legacy will want to do, is look to get forward in transition. When the Glens do have so many players up the field, you get stretched when you are trying to work the ball wide and you're working in the offense. That does leave you a little bit vulnerable when you're dispossessed to potentially be up against a counterattack opportunity.
Corner played low. Kai Sullivan couldn't get a shot. Chased down by Zane Alafranji. Sends it into the box, handled there by Johnson.
So for the Glens, when they're possessing up top and they're stretching the field, it's super important as soon as they're dispossessed that they get back into shape, organize defensively, and get tighter and more compact on the field.
Glens have scored 6 goals through their first 3 matches. They've allowed 4. Davis 0-3 on the season, 4 goals scored, 11 allowed. And a lot of that damage was done in their first match. That was a 6-2 loss against Project 510, who has looked very good early in the year. Glens coming off their first playoff appearance last season. Made it to the Western Conference semifinals. There's a foul going against the Glens this time, but it was a really great year last year for San Francisco, finishing 4th in the Southwest Division, getting a quarterfinal victory over Capital FC, and oh so close to getting by Ballard FC as well, losing 3-2 in extra time in the Western semis. But major steps taken.
It was a historic season for the Glens. They set so many club records in terms of League 2 play. They set records for wins, points, goals scored, goals conceded, goal differential, and assists. A lot of credit goes to head coach Gabe Saucedo, who was in his first season at the helm last season, returns for his second. The cool thing about this group is that you do have a number of players back who specifically came back, whether they're traveling, stick around over the summer because they play at USF, because they want to be a part of this group. The Glens did such a good job last season of creating a positive culture, creating a family environment that head coach Gabe Saucedo has talked a lot about. That's something that's super important to him, is that they make this the best experience possible so that players want to come back from season to season. We're seeing some of those labors, or we're seeing some of that come to fruition here this season, because there are a number of players who are back. Junior Mahi on the ball, one example of a player who was really fun to watch last season. Came back for the Glens, lives in Reno, Nevada, but makes that drive. So you know there's got to be something special going on here in San Francisco.
He is a fun player to watch, originally from Paris. And as you said, now living in Reno and making the drive. Crafty player. Coaching staff really likes him a lot. He's the guy who made the team last year from tryouts, and sort of an unknown at first, but he quickly earned a starting spot. And you can really see the wind on some of these high balls, Kylan, and to your point, it just takes that much more energy, both running against it and playing against it for these Glens in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. Working the ball out of the back when you're trying to clear it, it can be a major challenge. As I mentioned, offensively, sometimes it can be an advantage because the kick forward might die and stay inbounds, but it definitely changes the way the game is played, and it makes it much more difficult to read balls out of the air, both offensively and defensively.
Coming up on 13 minutes from Skyline College, no score. The San Francisco Glens Davis Legacy. First of a doubleheader for us today on Cron On. Don't forget, we've got the San Francisco Glens women as well coming up after this one against Stockton Cargo SC. The Glens women have been just phenomenal this year, 4-0, a 21-1 goal advantage, ranked number 1 in the national power rankings. So you'll want to definitely stick around for that one coming up later this afternoon, as that's out of play, a throw-in for the Glens.
Mahi is a player who came in and really made an impression, to your point, last season, Ben. 5 goals for Mahi, earned the starting spot as much as he was able to play, and whenever he was able to make the drive. Mahi is a player who's so blazing fast as well. Watch that speed on the left side. He also has an incredibly strong left foot. He can score from distance and can be a threat from almost anywhere on the field. Specifically last season against Davis Legacy, Mahi had an absolute banger that tied up the match 2-2 in the 89th minute. It was just an absolute rip. Such a pretty goal, possibly the best of the season last year. Junior Mahi scored against Davis Legacy. We'll see if he can come up with some heroics again in this timeout.
Junior Mahi, number 10 in the green, as it'll be another corner kick for the Glens. Dominic Valdivia will come and take it. The University of San Francisco Don. So the second corner for the Glens here in the first half, and headed out by Davis.
That ball sent in just a little bit too far away from goal, too far towards the top of the 18. You want to try to land it around the back, just edge of the 6 area, where you do have a number of players crashing. The Glens did have bodies in the box. They just weren't as far out as the ball ended up landing.
And that's another area where the wind can make it tough to be accurate with your corners.
Absolutely. The wind affects any ball that's going in the air at this pitch.
Here come the Glens. Mahi makes a nice move, tries to get some space, and that'll be another corner. The third one of this first half for the Glens.
And today's broadcast is brought to you by Condor Soccer. Get the new Streets of San Francisco 2023 USL League 2 collection exclusively at SF Glens home games. Next one is next Saturday at 1 p.m. versus SF City in the annual Derby at Skyline. A big thanks to Condor Soccer.
Joop Wouters taking the corner. He gets it back. And now going the other way.
We're still pretty early in this match, but some nice ball movement from the Glens. They're doing a good job of working it around the midfield, seeing a couple of nice 1-2 touch passes, give and goes. Now it's a matter of getting on the end of the ball in the 18.
Nice touch by Hunter George, and well defended by Cheyenne Sharalagi, another USF player.
Nice little give and go there by Davis Legacy, though. That 1-2 touch passing is something we haven't seen a lot of from them yet early in this match. They haven't had a ton of possession. That was a really nice combination play and what led to this corner.
So that did make it across for a corner. It'll be the second of the game for Davis. And set pieces so critical. An area the Glens want to improve. Punched out nicely by Johnson, but that'll be another corner.
Yeah, set piece is an area that head coach Gabe Sacedo has identified as being a little bit of a weakness of this group. The Glens gave up a goal against Monterey Bay FC on a set piece. He feels like they need to really tighten up their marking.
Look at that ball carry. And that works out in the Glens' favor. But I think you're going to see both of these teams try to adjust to the heavy winds this afternoon.
Yeah, that's where you see going into the wind actually being more of a challenge than an assistance, because it does carry that ball out of bounds, out of the air.
Mahi for Hamelink. He'll start it back. Legacy last year were 4-4-4, so exactly down the middle. Fifth place finish, just one spot behind the Glens in what was the Southwest Division last year. Both these teams now in the newly formed NorCal Division. And for this season, Davis trying to at least get a result today. 0-3 to start the year. As that one chased down by Jorge Negrete. And now back for the goalkeeper, Garibay.
The Glens have been able to really have their way working the ball around the midfield. This Davis Legacy team has to be a little bit tighter, a little bit sharper in their marking, and really try to get into passing lanes to prevent the Glens from just moving the ball and working it wherever they want, which is exactly what they're doing right now.
Good recovery for Davis. And booted back to midfield. Sun has come out here at Skyline College. Pretty afternoon despite the wind.
Really nice composure and patience from the Glens in the midfield, specifically Dom Valdivia stepping into the 6 role. He typically plays outside back for the Glens. He slid up into the midfield, and you can see he just has that great composure, good decision making. He also is a gritty defender, a player that you want to see in there in that 6. Last season, the Glens had their glue player at the 6, Kevin Lowe, coming out of USF, graduated, has since moved on, did not return this season. However, he was really that vocal leader in the midfield. He was such a strong ball winner. He connected. He moved the ball side to side and switched fields. Kevin Lowe is a huge absence for this Glen team this season. That's something that Coach Sacedo said has been a little bit difficult to fill his shoes. Lowe was also just a really, really vocal leader and that player who brought that veteran experience to help guide some of the younger players. Sacedo said he's still waiting for someone to step up and really fill that gap in terms of communication and leadership.
Davis getting organized now into the attacking half. Well, after a little bit of a shaky start for Davis Legacy, they've got their footing, it appears now. More even play these last 10 minutes as we're now into the 21st minute of a scoreless first half. And that will be a throw-in for Davis. Mark Torgerson, the head coach for Davis Legacy. As we mentioned earlier, Gabe Sacedo, the head coach for the Glens, not here today. A little under the weather, so the Glens being coached by associate head coach Javier Ayala Hill. As Junior Mahi trying to go one-on-one, makes a nice move to the middle. Pretty touch, a chance, Hamelink cross. Shot and a save by Garibay. Wow, a nice sliding save to keep it scoreless.
Just great anticipation, great reaction by Garibay to dive, to recognize the best chance he had was to slide and dive and save that with his feet. He made the exact right decision, reacted so quickly on a ball, played on the ground from inside the 18. Just an excellent save for the Davis Legacy goalkeeper. For the Glens, loved the ball movement. Junior Mahi cutting left. He wanted to get it on his strong foot, his left foot, while bringing it up the right side. Slid a beautiful pass forward to Max Hamelink, who was making the right diagonal run across the box. Dropping it back on the ground is the right play to make there. He had a tough angle, not a good spot to shoot from, but sliding it across the box was the right decision.
Wouters plays the corner into the box, and it's cleared back out. So certainly that was the best chance for either team so far in this one, and Garibay rose to the occasion, making a big save to keep it even. Potential numbers here for Davis. And errant pass was intercepted by Dominic Valdivia, who was back defensively. That could have been trouble for the Glens.
That's the area the Glens really have to keep an eye on throughout this match. It was a counterattack situation coming off that corner kick. The Glens have to be really sharp as soon as they are dispossessed and getting back as quickly as possible, getting back into shape and getting organized to prevent any type of counterattack from this Davis Legacy team. And for the Legacy, keep getting the ball forward. Look to take advantage of those transition opportunities. Take advantage when the Glens are out of shape, they don't have numbers behind the ball, and go directly at goal.
Legacy trying to have a little attack time. Cleared back out to Chrétien. Good composure and back out toward midfield.
Legacy doing a better job here of not letting the Glens get it out easily, applying pressure, not letting the Glens really control the midfield.
Here they come into the box. Shot goes high and wide.
Much better movement, as I mentioned, pressure from Davis Legacy, not allowing the Glens to work the ball out the back easily, forcing it back at them. And then that was a tough spot, or a tough angle to take the shot from. That's a situation where, like we saw the Glens do a moment ago, maybe you drop it back on the ground, look to hit one of your teammates making that run across the box. Still a good job by Davis Legacy of creating some offense here, and now they've got the chance on the corner.
Hunter George will take it for Davis. Carries to the back post. That was dangerous and punched out. Nice play. Cooper Johnson reading it well. And that was a much better effort from that side than the last one. Again, playing the wind to your advantage. If you're not careful, it can carry too far. And that was placed pretty well by Legacy.
Some better run of play for Legacy, certainly, as this half has gone on. Now can the Glens try to get back in possession, get back in control.
25th minute, still no score. San Francisco Glens, Davis Legacy on Cron On. Thanks for joining us this afternoon, Ben Ross and Kylan Mills from Skyline College. The first of our doubleheader today will be followed by the San Francisco Glens women, who are 4-0 on the year, hosting Stockton Cargo SC. A couple of Northern California clashes this afternoon. Alafrangi looking for space down the left side. Crosses, and it's cleared back out. Here come the Glens across midfield. Mahi. Chrétien, his touch not exactly where he wanted it, and coming out is Garibay to collect.
That was a good idea, though, from Mahi and Chrétien. I really like that little pretty one-touch layoff. Little give and go there, just that last ball looking to get it back to Mahi. The execution a little bit off, but it was the right idea. And once again, some good, sharp ball movement from the Glens on the ground. On the flip side, the Legacy doing a much better job of not letting the Glens work the ball out the back easily. You saw that last Glens possession where they just booted it out of bounds. Davis Legacy holding their line a little bit higher, applying more pressure, and forcing them to turn the ball over.
It's fascinating to watch early in this USL League 2 season, really for all of these teams. Just trying to find their chemistry as players come in and go, as that one is played back for Garibay. But, you know, soccer, just the ultimate team sport. And chemistry and teamwork is so important.
It really is, and that's why it's a little bit tough when you've got different players still being thrown into the mix early on in this USL 2 season. It takes a little bit of time for these players to learn to play together and develop that chemistry. Now, today's matchup is brought to you by Creative Ideas. Catering offers global fusion with Colombian Mexican flavors and is owned by one of our own Glens Academy players' families. They just opened their first cafe in San Francisco, only 6 minutes away from Crocker Soccer Field on 58 and Leland. We'll be taste testing some of that food from them and our other partners between games during this doubleheader. I'm really excited about that, Ben, but if you're watching, you don't want to miss it. Between these two matchups, some really great tastings are going to be happening that you will want to check in on.
I can't wait either. I mean, the best part of this job is always if you can get some free food. I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. As a broadcaster, you never turn down free food.
You never know when you're going to get the chance to eat. Always take advantage.
Absolutely.
Into the 28th minute at Skyline College. No score. San Francisco Glens, Davis Legacy. We've seen a couple of decent chances each way as a foul going to go against the Glens. No card, just a quick talking to.
To me, that could have been a card maybe there. You're sliding, completely went after the feet, no contact on the ball, and you really could question if there was even an attempt on the ball there, as clearly Valdivia was being beaten on that play. I feel like that one was riding line of being a yellow.
And that one all the way through to Cooper Johnson. Jamie Padilla, our referee today. Paul Patterson and Eduardo Hernandez, the assistant referees. Well, if you're the Glens, obviously you'd like to get a goal in this first half, but I think, as you mentioned, Kylan, going against the wind, even if you can stay level, that's probably a positive going into the second half when you know you're going to have the wind on your side.
Absolutely. Having the wind at your back, as I mentioned, sometimes balls can run out, but generally is an advantage.
And that one held up by the wind. It's loose in front, and it's in the net. Is the flag up? It appears so. Handball is the call. I thought it might be offside, but it was a handball. Couldn't see it from here.
It was close to where it maybe could have been riding the line of being offsides, but ultimately bounced off one of the Glens' hands up there as that ball was bouncing towards goal.
So another good chance for the Glens. They've had a couple of them. And again, that was a case where the wind sort of played to their advantage, holding the ball up and allowing them to get a chance. Just unfortunate. The handball wipes out the goal. But they've got to feel good about their attack in this first half. They've created chances. Grande trying to get through a few defenders. It bounces back to Hamelink.
That's one thing you love to see from Diego Grande. He's always that player up top who is super relentless in the attack and is a really hard worker. He is absolutely gritty. He just will try to fight through contact every single time, runs down every single ball as hard as he can. He applies so much pressure to back lines. He's a player to me that maybe isn't the flashiest in terms of technical skill set when you look up and down this Glens roster, but he is such a hard worker, and then he has a great strike. Grande is a player who scored some really pretty goals last season from times at distance in a couple of different ways, so he certainly is a major threat up top.
Chrétien for Wouters. Glens on the attack again, trying to break through. Wouters spins it back. Still in play. And well defended there by Davis.
Come on, Johan!
Glens coming off the 1-0 loss on Sunday. That was at Monterey Bay. So here's a chance for Davis in transition. Past Johnson. A shot. And it somehow went wide.
Wow, I thought that was surefire in. That's another area, as I've been talking about throughout the match, the Glens have to be careful about the counterattack. They are not sharp enough right now when they lose the ball, getting back as quickly as possible. And watch this play here. Dives and then has that little opening. You saw the Glens trying to really collapse there, but there still was that little slot, where he could have possibly got that on net. Tough angle, though, from that position.
Yeah, great chance for Hunter George. Boy, both of these teams have had point-blank opportunities today. Another corner kick for Davis. And that's sent too far.
The Glens on that last counterattack just have to be sharper as soon as Davis Legacy wins the ball. They are not getting back quickly enough. They're not getting organized. They're not getting in shape. As you saw that punt bounce over midfield, it was a complete numbers up situation for Davis Legacy, and the Glens were running at their own goal. That's a really tough position to be in. Suddenly you're in a foot race with those attackers for Davis Legacy. Who can get to that bouncing ball first? Instead, you want to get numbers behind the ball, keep that ball in front of you, try to win it out of the air and force it back the other way. However, the Glens were just caught sleeping.
Well, for the latest in Bay Area sports, check out Sports Night Live, which airs weeknights at 10:45 p.m. on Cron 4. You might see highlights from today on there. Sports Night Live every weeknight at 10:45 p.m. on Cron 4. We're happy to have our partnership with Cron 4 again this season. Thanks for joining us today on Cron On. Ben Ross, Kylan Mills, the first of a doubleheader this afternoon. We'll have the USL Women's League up next. The Glens taking on Stockton Cargo SC as that one rolls through to Cooper Johnson.
Regarding the partnership with Cron, it's awesome to see the Glens continuing to do everything they can to shed light on soccer in this community and to really amplify the pathway to pro that they are trying to create, allowing their players who start at the youngest level, joining the Glens Academy, giving them an opportunity to play with MLS Next, which is something that they are now a part of at their older age groups. And then taking it to that next step, you've got the USL 2 as an option.
Another chance for Davis. Into the box, shot, save. And the rebound cleared away. Cooper Johnson coming up big in goal. Still not out of harm's way. Punched to the other side. And now cleared out. Now it's the Glens' turn in transition. Chrétien waiting for help. Good patience. Hamelink with some space. Down the right side, shot, save Garibay. Action at both ends.
That was a nice counterattack by the Glens, and the Glens looking to take advantage of really looking to get forward in those transition moments. However, that first touch from Hamelink, I would have liked to see him cut it middle and create a better angle for himself to take that shot on goal. He took the first touch with his right foot, took a second touch with his right foot towards the end line, and then made it a little bit more difficult for him to take that actual shot on goal because then he was at a wider angle. I would have liked to see if he could have somehow weaved between defenders, cut it middle, and then had that really, really point-blank shot on goal.
Mahi with the corner. Right through the 18. And it comes out clean on the other side.
That was a really nicely delivered corner by Mahi. The Glens have to get someone on the end of that. Someone has to make at least contact there. It was right across the 6. In such a dangerous spot, the Glens could just get any type of body part on it.
Mahi again plays it into the box. Cleared back out. Chased down by Valdivia. Good hustle by Valdivia. And that's going to earn another corner.
Some good moments from Dominic Valdivia playing at that 6 role, sliding up from typically playing in an outside back. Now, he's a player who's been critical for USF the last couple of seasons, had 3 goals and 3 assists this past season, and also had the second most minutes on the team, and was an all West Coast Conference honorable mention selection in the 2020-2021 season.
Bowders takes the corner. Puts it into the box. It's punched back out. And now Davis trying to again counterattack, but a little too much on that touch.
That corner kick from Bowders, just, you want to get a little bit more on it. That near post area around the 6 is a tougher spot for someone to head it because you're looking at a tough angle where you've got to move your body and try to flick it on goal versus the back of the 6 where you're directly facing goal and it's much easier to get some power on it.
37th minute, no score, although we have seen some good chances both ways. This game could easily be 1-1 or 2-2 at this point. But the goalkeepers have been sharp. Here's a run for Hernandez down the right side. Cross right through and post wide to the right side.
Oof. That is a tough pill to swallow. That looked like from this angle, tougher not to score on than to score on. But first, just great decision making off the post. That's just a tough pill to swallow. It starts, though, with great decision-making, great composure on the ball by Jack Singer out at center back. He had a defender on him. He came, turned down this right flank, then played a beautiful ball down the right side that ultimately started that attack. A lot of credit to Singer for that composure and then delivery and distribution on the ball played forward to break lines.
Here comes Davis. Wenner cuts it back to the middle. Through for Cole Barrett. Now Sundquist. Oh, that was close. Johnson had to make a diving stop, and it'll be another corner for Davis.
Nice delivery there by that shot. I think maybe caught some of the Glens off guard. He had a little bit of space there right around the edge of the 18 to take that look, and why not take it? I will say, though, that Wenner has been pretty quiet here so far in this first half. He's that player that you really are aware of and are zoning in on defensively because he scored some goals, but the Glens have really done a good job neutralizing him so far. It's some of the other players they now really have to step up.
Alafrangi on the corner. Far post, a little too far. Kept in play, and now it rolls across and will be a throw-in for the Glens.
Davis Legacy creating some corners here as the half has gone on, but they've overhit several of them. You've got to try to get those in play, put them in the mix to force the defense to make a tough play. When you're overhitting it like that, no problem for the Glens.
And let's give the Glens credit, too. We talked about set pieces being a key for them. They've done a nice job here in this first half defensively on these set pieces. As Davis looking to attack again, Alafrangi. Just on the edge of the 18. Wenner, well defended and cleared out.
Good 1v1 defense there on the far side by the Glens. Once again, doing a good job of neutralizing Wenner so far in this matchup.
More good defense. Lorenzo Hernandez, the takeaway, and now he sends Mahi. Junior Mahi trying to get through, and good defense the other way from Davis. This will be a throw-in for the Glens, much to the chagrin of the Davis coaching staff. I love our vantage point, Kylan. You get to really hear both sides. The referees, some of the conversations and the interactions.
We're right down here at midfield on the ground between the two benches, so you do get a good earful from both coaching staffs, which is very interesting to watch.
You got to tell them no swear words.
Right?
When they're too close to the microphones.
Yeah, might pick something up on a mic.
Well, now a throw in for Davis as we're coming up on the final 5 minutes of this first half. Been back and forth. The Glens, a few great opportunities. Davis with one or two as well. But we remain scoreless as Mahi starts the attack for the Glens. Hamelink. Wouters on the right side. His cross. Dangerous. Punched out by Garibay. Tell you, both goalkeepers have been very sharp in this first half, Kylan. Really locked in.
Both keepers with a couple of critical saves. Both offenses missing on a couple of finishes that should have gone in. This could easily be a 2-2 scoreline at this point in the match. We'll have to see if one of these teams can finally break this game open. Maybe in the second, maybe a reset, have some conversations in the locker room. But both teams have had very clear-cut opportunities to score that should have been goals.
Here comes Mahi again. Mahi sizing up the defense. He crosses to the top of the box. And it ends up back in the hands of Garibay.
That was a nice decision by the Legacy defense to head that ball back. That's one where it's bouncing in the box. It's dangerous because you're facing your own goal and you're not really in a situation where you can kick it out easily, and that's a situation where you make the wrong touch and you're potentially scoring an own goal. He took that off the bounce, the header back to the goalkeeper so the keeper can use his hands. Smart play.
You just get the sense that if we see one goal in this match, the floodgates might really open because, as you said, Kylan, both teams have been so close several times.
Couldn't agree more. This feels like a game that once someone breaks it open, more goals will come. Several really good chances for both teams here in the first half.
Mahi. Good ball. Hamelink trying to, or Chrétien rather, trying to get body position now for Wouters. And it's blocked back out, and it'll be a throw-in.
Credit to Davis Legacy. As the half has gone on, they've started to play better. I mentioned a little bit better pressure, not letting the Glens work it around both out of the back and in the midfield as easily as they were right from kickoff. The Glens were really just dominating the game in the middle of the pitch to start this out. Legacy has gotten into more of a rhythm and has been challenging balls better, playing a little bit tighter and making life more difficult for the Glens.
Glens trying to attack again. Hamelink. Far side Grande. And perhaps a handball there as it's going back the other way. Well, congratulations to the Olympic Club Foundation on over 30 years of serving the community and making sure everyone can play. Just about 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Been an entertaining one. We don't have any goals, but we have had some great chances and end-to-end action. As that one a little too tall for Wenner. And a foul going against the Glens.
Those balls out of the air and looking to go over the top are going to be extremely difficult for Davis Legacy to be able to execute. The Glens have two really big players who are strong out the air in their center backs, and Cheyenne Charalagi and Jack Singer. Both are 6'2". They're great out of the air. They're both wiry, strong defenders. They're not easy to beat over the top.
Wenner will take this free kick, and typically not the most dangerous area, but you never know with the wind today. He'll play it short. And Davis will just regroup and try and set up their attack. A little over a minute remaining in the first half. Maybe surprised there, Kylan, not to see Wenner try and use the wind to his advantage there and maybe either take a shot or try and put one directly into the box.
It's a tough position because you're far enough away where a shot is going to be pretty ambitious, but also you're in the center of the pitch, so you're not necessarily crossing it or looking to boot one across the goal where a teammate can run on.
Here come the Glens. Chrétien plays it left, and the offside flag is up. So offside called against the Glens.
Chrétien not happy with the call. It did look like maybe he was a step or a hair offsides there. Another good run, and the Glens doing a good job there of recognizing the counterattack opportunity, getting the ball forward, looking to make a couple of 1-2 touch passes with those players who were up top. You got to really be careful about timing your run so that you're not offsides. Don't get ahead of yourselves. The timing is so critical in situations like that.
They'll add on 1 minute of stoppage time as we have now played 45 from Skyline College. No score between the San Francisco Glens and Davis Legacy. The wind really picking up, taking our tarp away. We don't need the tarp, but we don't want it to end up on the pitch.
A little bit of a dangerous situation here as the wind, we've mentioned, really picking up, but we've got a couple of tents set up off to the sideline that are in duress at the moment, flying around. But just a couple of seconds left to play. Hopefully at halftime we can regroup also or set up here on the sideline.
Davis looking for a late goal. Glens trying to make sure that doesn't happen. And this is going to be a corner for Legacy. So one more good chance coming perhaps before halftime. Let's see if the Glens can keep it out of their net.
Execution going to be super important for Davis Legacy. Put this ball in the mix. Put it around the 6. Do not overhit this.
Pretty good location that time. It was dangerous, but it ends up kicked out. And that will take us to halftime. Well, Kylan, both teams had some really good looks and chances to get on the scoreboard. But at the end of 45 minutes, it's 0-0.
The key for the Glens is going to be exactly what head coach Gabe Saucedo identified going into this matchup: execution in the 18 and in the final third. The Glens started out really strong with beautiful ball movement. Davis Legacy made it a little bit more difficult for them as the half went on, but they still were creating chances, moving the ball, looking to break lines when they could counterattack. It was a matter of executing inside the box. Either the final pass or that shot on goal just was a little bit off. And soccer is a game of inches. You have to be so precise and clinical in your finishing inside the 18. If the Glens had done that, this could be a totally different game. On the flip side, similar story for Davis Legacy. You know, we're talking about both teams could have had a couple of balls in the back of the net at this point. It's a matter of trying to execute. Also, we've got to give a lot of credit to both these goalkeepers for coming up with a couple of big stops.
Absolutely. So no score at halftime. Don't go anywhere. We've got our halftime show presented by Thomas Quinn Law. Coming up next, you're watching Cron On.
That's quick. You got a strawberry back there? That's chocolate. That's vanilla. Quit playing. Now we're talking. Bunnies up, buddy.
Here's to that classic, delicious taste. Bunnies up, buddy.
Look good, feel good, best stuff. Check it out.
I am a Coast Guardsman.
I serve the people of the United States.
I will protect them.
I will save them.
I am their shield.
We are.
We are.
We are.
We are missing pauses.
You mean passes?
No, pauses. The secret to winning is to pause.
I'm taking a step back. Sometimes you gotta stop to be, you know, an actual human.
Take a minute to celebrate, right?
Or 20.
Pause is power.
That's quick. You got a strawberry back there? That's chocolate. That's vanilla. Quit playing. Now we're talking. Bunnies up, buddy.
Here's to that classic, delicious taste. Bunnies up, buddy.
Sent it. I mean, I haven't talked to Steve about it, but Charlie said he sent it through
Who did it go to?
before the game. Steve.
Minneapolis or Steve Pro?
Steve that gave me his card. Steve, I think, and
Her husband sitting there right now? That's or
I don't know, but I think and he
Steve Anderson.
gave me the
Highlights are
No score at halftime between the San Francisco Glens and Davis Legacy, although you're seeing here some of the close calls from both teams. Plenty of good opportunities. As Kylan had talked about, this could easily be a 2-2 game at this point. Both goalkeepers, Johan Garibay and Cooper Johnson, have been solid. Funny, Kylan, usually when you see a 0-0 halftime score, you expect both coaching staffs to be very happy with the defensive effort. Might not necessarily be the case today, but at the end of the day, we're level with one half to play.
It's interesting. I wonder what the conversations are like in the locker room, because neither coaches should be happy with the scoreline here at half. Both teams have had very clear-cut opportunities to score. We just watched the Glens had one ring off the post on what should have been a goal. It was from inside the 6. You've got to put those away, and it was some great ball movement leading up to it. So there certainly has to be some frustration on both sides regarding just not quite putting the ball in the back of the net. Defensively, I don't think that either team has been bad. It's just that both offenses have been able to create some goal-scoring opportunities. For the Glens, the key has been trying to get back and prevent opportunities in transition. A couple of times they were caught in a numbers down situation. Legacy was able to come at them in a 3-on-2 situation, 4-on-3, 2-on-1 situation, where it's difficult to defend there, and that's where they have to try to get numbers behind the ball as soon as they lose it. For Davis Legacy, they've got to try to challenge a little bit more in the midfield and not give the Glens any space to really work the ball around and to find and connect in the exact ways they want to. Especially at the start of the half, the Glens were just completely controlling the play in the middle of the pitch, and they were absolutely having their way with moving the ball and working it wherever they want. Davis Legacy did a better job as the half went on, but they still could try to make it more difficult, put bodies on people in the midfield, get into passing lanes, try to keep your shape and not let the Glens work the ball around and build in the way they want to build.
It is our halftime show presented by Thomas Quinn Law. Don't go anywhere. We've got some good stuff coming up for you, including a feature on Diego Grande of the San Francisco Glens, as well as some local college commitments and an academy tryouts recap. Our score at halftime, 0-0. San Francisco Glens, Davis Legacy on Cron On.
My name is Diego Grande. I'm a right winger or a left winger. For Dominican, I play right wing. Well, I came here when I was around like 15 years old, and from there I wanted to play in college, and they gave me a pathway to play in college. When I came here, they started like the USL 2 team, and from then I wanted to play on them. It's mainly due because of what the Glens did for me to provide like opportunities for me to go to showcases and be in front of these college coaches.
Clever flick. Grande fights his way back and pulls level. Diego Grande, a sensational individual effort, 1-1 in the 35th.
Back in 2017 is when I first started coaching Diego with his youth team within the Glens, and he was definitely one of the players that stood out the most because of his dedication, work ethic on the field. He wasn't the biggest guy on the field and still isn't till this day, but I think that determination of always working extremely hard, always looking to improve, he's always asking questions in the training session 6 years ago up until now. I'm always willing to learn and to get better and to kind of see his progression from his high school days and going to Dominican and having a fantastic first 2 years at Dominican and seeing him score goals and assists and having that translate over to the Glens first team has been just an amazing thing to see. And he's still a young player. I know he's got big aspirations to go to the next level, and I'm hoping that we can help him in that development.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Rodriguez here from U19 MLS Next SF Glens, and I am proud to be announcing that I will be playing at Kyle Berkeley. Yeah, it's always been my dream school growing up. I always wanted to play at Cal, and just the coaching staff, Leonard, and the formation they play, I really like, and I feel like I could fit at Cal. First off, I want to thank my family and my teammates and everybody who has helped me through my journey. My past coaches, Jose Patino with Daddy Moro, Edgar Alvarez, and my recent coaches, Widow Medina and Robbie with the San Francisco Glens. I would also like to give a huge shout out to Jose Mendoza, the soccer coach at Mission High School.
I want to thank the Olympic Club Foundation and the SF Glen Scholarship Fund for making it possible for me to play at the MLS Next level.
I would also like to thank the YSF European Soccer Program that has helped me academically. In my next chapter, I want to dedicate this to my dad.
Está logrando sus sueños. Desde chiquito él ha sido muy serio con lo que quiere y lo que le gusta. Muy orgullosa de que él vaya a asistir a la Universidad de Berkeley. Creo que es una de las mejores escuelas y no se quiere ir muy lejos de San Francisco. Él está contento de ir ahí y nosotros muy orgullosas de eso.
Kevin and I are first generation college students, and there will be many more opportunities for him. Although it might have seemed like a far reach, here we are and we're very proud of him.
Once again, I want to thank everybody who's been following me through my journey, and I'm looking forward to my next chapter in my life of playing at Cal. Go Bears and up the Glens.
Go Bears, yes sir!
Hey Glens family, it's Johnny from the U19 MLS Next team, and I'm here today to announce my commitment to play soccer at Johns Hopkins University. Go Hop! I chose Johns Hopkins University because it's a perfect fit for me both academically and athletically. On the academic front, it's one of the top universities in the world, known all over for its really good research, especially in the STEM categories. And then you add the very competitive soccer program, finishing in the top 8 of D3 this year and looking to build on that. I also went and visited, and the coaching staff and the teammates were very welcoming, and it also has really nice facilities in the city of Baltimore, so it's a perfect fit. A lot of people don't know this about me, but when I first joined the Glens 8 years ago, I was on the 4th team for my age group, and with a lot of hard work and determination and believing in myself, I was able to move up through the ranks from the 4th team all the way up to starting in the finals of last year's MLS Next Cup. I could never have done this by myself. There's a lot of people that helped me get to where I am today, and I couldn't be more grateful for it. First off, I'd like to thank my parents for pouring endless amounts of love and support into my journey since the beginning and for always having my back. I'd also like to thank my older sister Naomi for being a great role model and setting an example of what it takes to be a collegiate student athlete. I'd also like to thank all my teammates, especially from the last 2 U19 MLS Next teams at the Glens, and my teammates from Midland High School, who have pushed me to be the best player that I can be on and off the field every day and have helped me enjoy playing the game. From the Glens, I'd like to thank Mike and Ryan for always believing in me ever since I told them that I wanted to play college soccer. I'd also like to thank my old coach, Jose Mendoza, who kind of started me off on this journey and really believed in me. Last but not least, I'd like to thank Wedo as well as his son, Adrian, and the rest of the Bay City family for taking me in and really believing in me and teaching me everything that I know on the field and also being a great support system off the field.
Hi, I just want to say John Hopkins is getting one of our best and most dedicated players in the program. Johnny, I've watched Johnny develop from, a third string kind of player into a starter for me on the MLS Next, where we went to the final, where he was a big part of it. My son and him would go, tirelessly all the time to make sure that Johnny was getting to the level that he needed to get to make sure that he lived his dream. And here we are now, and I just want to say, Johnny, you're going to be great, and I can't wait to be at some of your games.
I couldn't be any more thankful to those who have helped me along the way, and I'm excited for what the future holds at the collegiate level. Up the Glens!
Hey Glens family, Lucas Jones here from the MLS Next U19s. It's been a long journey with the San Francisco Glens, but I'm finally excited to announce that I've committed to Manhattan College. I chose Manhattan College because I wanted to play Division I soccer at the highest level possible. They like to play out of the back, and so do I, and I think my style of play will fit their style of play perfectly. I love being in the cold weather, and I like being around a big city, so Manhattan College was the place for me. I definitely couldn't have done this by myself, and there's a lot of people that I would like to thank. The Glens 04 squad from last year. We made a great run in Texas. I'd like to thank our coach, Wedo Medina, and his son, Adrian Medina, for helping us out throughout that tournament. I'd like to thank Robbie Ricks for coming in mid-season and making an impact on my development immediately. I'd like to thank my previous coaches, Nick Lasson and Toby Rappel, and I'd like to thank Mike and Ryan for making this all possible. And last but not least, I want to thank my family and close friends that pushed me to be better.
Congratulations, Lucas. I'm so proud of you. I can remember way back when we were little kids kicking the ball around at the park. And I remember going to the fields late at night, me shooting on you. And I'm really proud of how far you've come. And I know you're going to kill it over there at Manhattan College.
I'm excited for the new chapter in my soccer career at Manhattan College. I know that I'll face many challenges, but I know that with hard work and dedication, I'll be able to achieve anything. Up the Glens.
Coming in, yeah, flex, I just wanna win, yeah, LABB who we running with, yeah, 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10 again, yeah, state your name, big bend dope on flame. I just switched the lanes. Damn, he did it again. I just flipped the pain. Stripping and dipping in bass, slab on everything. Swimming, you sinking away, cause I got big racks coming. I put my low racks on it. I ain't skip past losses, I had to get back off it. See the fit lab on it until they whip my coffin. Money clip, I tossed it, I heard it's big bags on big bags on big bags coming, coming in, yeah, flex, I just wanna win, yeah, LABB who we running with.
Welcome back to Skyline College as we are getting ready for the second half. No score between the San Francisco Glens and Davis Legacy SC. Ben Ross, Kylan Mills with you here on Cron on a windy afternoon in San Bruno. And we saw a lot of chances in that first half for both teams, but none ended up in the goal. And we are even heading into these next 45 minutes. So for Davis, looking for their first win of the year, 0-3 to start. San Francisco Glens are 2-1 coming off their first loss of the year. And a lot at stake in these next 45 minutes for both teams.
Well, Davis Legacy hasn't won yet this year. It's not because they're lacking quality. You see it as the half has gone on. They've got some players who are dangerous. They certainly have players who have some skill. USL 2, very competitive. Sometimes you don't get the result, but absolutely, just because they're looking for their first win, do not think for a second that this isn't a very competitive group that could easily come out with a win here today.
You see the stats from that first half on your screen. Pretty even both ways. Shots were 6-5. And again, both goalkeepers, Johan Garibay for Davis Legacy, Cooper Johnson for the Glens, were at the top of their game to keep this 0-0 as we're underway in the second half. Teams switch sides. Davis in the white and red kits. San Francisco Glens in the beautiful greens. As that's knocked out of play, it'll be a throw-in for Austin Wenner.
And now also take into account that these two teams have switched sides in terms of who's playing into the wind and who has the wind at their back. That should be an advantage for the Glens. You now don't have to expend as much energy kicking the ball into the wind, running into the wind. The only issue potentially is that balls will carry. If you're playing something direct forward, it could go over the end line.
That certainly helps, especially in the second half. As we get toward the end of this match, energy will be at a premium. And it's nice to have the wind at your back. Cooper Johnson taking early advantage as that one booted down, and a whistle and perhaps a handball called against Chrétien. Race down the right side. Hamelink chasing after. That's Nathaniel Carrasco into the game for Davis Legacy, number 12 in the white.
Yeah, he's got some speed. You could certainly see him using it there down the left side. Looked like that could have been a foul potentially on Hamelink. Looked like there was a little push. Some Davis Legacy players calling for it, just didn't get the whistle.
No cards in that first half, either side. Been a pretty clean game. And now the Glens work it back to midfield, but intercepted there by Ruben Flores-Thomas.
On the flip side, that could have been a foul up here on Chrétien. A little over the back, not on Chrétien, but being executed by a Davis Legacy defender, playing a little bit over the back on Chrétien. So officials letting a little bit go, letting some physical play happen here as we begin the second half.
Comes through to Cooper Johnson, the starting goalkeeper from Indiana. Well, originally from Los Altos Hills here in California, but playing for Indiana University. And now Davis trying to attack again. Wenner into the box, but the flag is up for offside.
Yeah, Wenner did look a step offsides. It was some good ball movement once again. This Davis Legacy team really looking to get the ball forward and break some lines quickly. They've been more of a handful as this match has gone on for this Glens defense.
48th minute, no score. Glens and Davis Legacy. A couple of Northern California rivals doing battle on a Saturday afternoon. And now here come the Glens with numbers. A little misplay there from Mahi. And
It's interesting, Mahi as a lefty is playing on the right side of the pitch. Now, one area that can be an advantage is that he's going to be looking to cut it middle, put it on that left foot at a better angle than if he was on the left side. He's more looking to go end line and swing it across with that left foot, potentially setting up a teammate. When he's playing on the right, there should be more opportunities for Mahi to cut middle and take a chance himself.
So it'll be a goal kick for Johan Garibay. Goalkeeper played Gonzaga. We've seen him in the West Coast Conference over the years, the Stockton native. And a foul going against the Glens as Wenner appeared to take a shot to the midsection.
Yeah, Charlagi just overplaying him a little bit, making a little bit of contact there while going for that 50-50 header. Good thing is it's not a super dangerous area of the field to give up that foul right around midfield. Look to try to get it back and recover.
Ulysses Esquivel plays it back for Davis. Nice move by Esquivel. Gets around Hamelink. Flores Thomas down the right side. Curls it back. Davis playing well here to start this second half, going into the wind. Carrasco goes down. They play on. You hear the Davis coaches disagree with the no call.
That's the second one that looked like a foul to me there down the right side. Glens have got to be careful. Estevez is super quick. You can see it right away that he's provided a little bit of spark on this side. And he's a player they're going to really have to watch and try to play cleanly, keep him in front. Don't let him get that touch or he can blow by you. You see that explosiveness and the change of speed there. Both of those really could have been fouls.
Hey, we'll take the foul on the inline there, ref. Rather have a free kick, huh?
51st minute.
However, there have been some, plays going both ways.
It has been a little more physical here in this second half, and as you've said, Kylan, they're kind of letting them play right now, which personally I always like to see. I'm okay with the physical play.
All right.
But it's
then
easy
we're going to throw you out there.
I was going to say it's easy for me sitting here on the sideline.
Fun to watch physical play as someone who's been a part of it. You go home with a couple of bumps and bruises.
A little bit sore.
Been there. Yeah, exactly.
Get the ice pack ready. That'll be a foul called against Kai Sullivan. Glens put it back in play.
Now here you'll see the flip side of working into the wind. That last ball really rolled. That was over here on the left flank or the near side of your screen. Here on the far side, that one rolled out as well. This time, though, it'll be a throw-in for the Glens, but you'll see those balls carry now that they're going into the wind, or going with the wind at the backs.
Glens looking for their first shot of this second half. It's headed out by Esquivel. Now there's a long shot that curls over the net.
Esquivel is a player out the back that I've had my eye on, has really been playing well. You saw him head that one out, not get beat over the top, but also he's got some really nice foot skills and has been able to work a couple times in tight spaces, some good composure on the ball. That unfortunately shot just completely errant for the Glens. A little bit leaned back on and hit over.
Well, with offices in California, Texas, and Illinois, Thomas Quinn is able to provide quality national and international representation for maritime law, emphasizing a personal touch. Experienced, client-focused, effective. Thomas Quinn Law. Glens with a chance. Into the box, collision, and it was clean, and it comes through to Garibay.
Yeah, that was a clean tackle on the ball, but another really close chance for the Glens. Some great ball movement. It was Hamelink who actually won the ball on the kick out from the Legacy keeper. And then he made the right pass, a couple of quick passes, and the Glens had such a great shot on goal. A really nice piece of defense, though, for Davis Legacy.
Cody Sundquist. Legacy on the attack, crossed into the box, and a mishit. Nathaniel Carrasco in terrific position. He's going to want that one back.
The second half, a similar story to the first half, in that we've seen both teams really with some close chances, some opportunities that should have gone in the back of the net. Watch how he just overhits it, leans back a little bit, and sends that one outside the right upper crossbar. But both teams, once again in this half, creating some opportunities, no one able to just get on the end and finish them.
Glens moving right to left, wind at their back here in the second half. There's a long attempt, punched out. Garibay had to be ready, and it'll be a corner kick for the Glens.
That was a great shot by Angel Iñiguez. He's a player out of San Jose State who can certainly make an impact. Just strikes it so well, cleanly. You watch as he swings through with that left foot and hits it towards the right part of the goal you're looking at, that upper corner.
Well, on that corner kick, the Glens learned what Davis found out in the first half, which is that wind can be a bit much when you're on that side. And it never stood a chance that time.
When taking those corner kicks with the wind at your back, you've got to know and adjust your strike a little bit. You've got to try to realize you need to take a little bit off it, play it a little bit farther back than you might normally, because the wind's going to blow it back towards goal. The Glens, just like Legacy needed to in the first half, have to make some adjustments on the way they're striking those corner kicks with the wind at their backs.
That'll be a throw-in for the Glens. We're in the 56th minute, still scoreless. And as you get closer and closer to the finish line, obviously every chance that much more important. A little bit of a shove there, but they play through. Glens keep possession and try to organize. Angel Iñiguez back for Sharalagi. Hamley nicely evades the defender. Sends it across to the other side. Good run. And a little out of the reach that time for Guzman.
That one just a little bit too much on that ball. It's so difficult to match up the timing of the run and the weight on the ball when looking to slot those balls forward inside the box. You see, he just can't quite run it down and get that foot on it. It takes a tough combination, though, of waiting the ball just right and timing the run just right to be able to connect on that slotted ball forward towards the end line. However,
here come the Glens. Chrétien, he has 4 goals this year. Tries a shot far post and a near miss.
Not a bad look from Chrétien. He's a player who can strike from outside the 18 from that distance. He cut it back on his right foot, was able to create just a little space from his defender. You see just that little bit of space created as he cut it right. He saw that lane towards the far post, and it wasn't a bad strike, keeping it low and just looking for that side netting. Just maybe a foot off from Chrétien.
Substitutions for Davis Legacy. Titus Washington, Simon Vaca-Lorenzi both into the match. Austin Winter among those coming out.
Tell you what, a player who's really been a difference maker for the Glens in the midfield is Max Hammelink. Super impressed by the way he has played. He's super, super crafty on the ball. He has great composure. He makes the right decisions on when to switch the field, when to play short 1-2 touch passes. He is absolutely that player you're looking for to be a playmaker and distributor in the midfield, in that middle triangle.
One of several USF players on this Glens team, originally from the Netherlands. He has 1 goal so far this season, as Flores Thomas for Davis taken back away by the Glens.
That was well read by Charlagi there, as Davis Legacy swung that ball into the middle. They were looking to make that just one-touch layoff to a player running on goal. Charlagi was in the right spot, the right time, read it well, and was able to step in and intercept a potential chance.
More good defense that time from the Glens. Tony Guzman got the takeaway.
There was some contact from behind on that play. You have to be careful when on the back, not to make too much contact on the back. If there's any movement from that player with the ball, a little looks like a step forward, ref might call it.
Here comes Mahi flying down the right side, and Garibay able to collect it, but he showed off the speed.
Mahi has absolute blazing speed that he can use and turn on at any time.
Washington goes after it, and it's going back the Glens way. Davis was hoping for a penalty, but I think that looked like the right call.
There was contact going both ways as they went down. Watch here, and it was just at the edge of the 18. I don't know, regardless of which way it goes, if it's necessarily a penalty, but it was right there crossing the threshold into the 18. A couple more substitutions
coming.
Going to be made.
Yeah, there's another look. Julio Gonzalez Ponce wearing number 34 into the match, along with Yonhook Kwok. So some fresh bodies for Javier Ayala Hill, who is the acting head coach today. Gabe Saucedo under the weather, so he is not here.
This is an area, the 60th minute, where both teams are making some substitutions, looking for some fresh legs and some players to really come in, bring a spark, bring energy, and raise the level. That's an area that head coach Gabe Saucedo feels like has been lacking with this group. Someone coming in off the bench and being a difference maker. Heading into this match, Coach Saucedo said he is looking for one of his subs to really come in and step up. He mentioned to us that's something that his coaching staff would be addressing with this team. Even if you start out the game on the bench, you have to be ready to come in and make an impact. You have to be ready to come in and bring that spark that could potentially lead to a goal. That was one of the challenges for this group in their 1-0 loss to Monterey.
This will be a throw-in for the Glens. I think Kwok, certainly a player who could provide that spark, number 14 in the green from SF State, originally from South Korea. We'll see how the midfielder can impact this game along with Gonzalez Ponce.
Gonzalez Ponce, a player who was a key piece of the Glens last season. He played for this USL2 side. He has the experience at this level. He also was an all-CCAA honorable mention selection at SF State this past year. A player who's had success at a high level. Can he now be the player that provides that spark?
Contact in the box, but the ball goes through. It'll be a goal kick. Well, the sun has come out here in San Bruno. A Saturday afternoon at Skyline College. Our first of two matches today. We have the USL Women's League up next with the 4-0 San Francisco Glens hosting Stockton Cargo SC. That'll be a fun one as well. And as we'll talk about, Kylan, that Glens women's team #1 in the national power rankings.
That goal kick, one of those that you saw just completely die, and you have to be really careful when trying to boot balls out of the back into the wind that you drive it straight forward and do not loft that ball up in the air, because that just completely died. Almost changed directions like at a 180. That was really interesting to watch.
Yeah, you don't want to get anything too high in the air going into the wind.
So you'll see this here again. That ball forward lofted a little bit, and then you see it just drop.
Glens trying to attack in transition. Nice idea, didn't get through, and it deflects over the end line. It will be a goal kick.
That was the right idea, and that's something that also has been really important for this Glens group, is determining moments when they should be patient, swing the ball side to side, hold up and let the rest of the team get forward, and when are the moments to play more direct, look to take advantage of a numbers up situation and to really take the ball forward and directly at goal. That was the right time to look for a counterattack chance.
Another high one in the air and dies in the wind. Takedown, Valdivia held up, and that'll be a foul And a free kick coming for the Glens. See if they can create something off this set piece opportunity.
Set pieces identified by Coach Saucedo as being the difference, especially when you play at this high level. You're playing in such tightly contested and competitive games. It's just one or two moments of brilliance that can be the difference in a win and a loss.
Angel and Yiguez with the left foot into the box and volleyed out.
That was great delivery by Yiguez. I really liked the way he struck that ball. Yiguez hits this at just the right spot, towards the back of the 6, in front of his runners who are coming onto goal. They're able to run through that ball. Charlagi, unfortunately, just leaned a little bit too far back, had his toe come up just after he struck it and sent it over. Timing, though, there was spot on. It's just a matter of executing on the actual touch into net. Yiguez really nice in the delivery, and then Charlagi making the right run at the right time. The Glens crashing the goal like they should. Now they just have to try to finish it and get a better execution on the touch into the back of the net.
Here comes Yiguez. Assessing his options. Curls it back out.
And Angel is a player that Coach Saucedo talked about, feeling like he can step into that 6th role. I mentioned it's one spot on the field that Coach Saucedo has been looking for someone to really step up, someone to take ownership of that role in the way that Kevin Lowe did last season. Dom Valdivia has stepped into the midfield, done well today. Also, though, Angel is a player who could potentially elevate his level and really win that spot over.
Valdivia couldn't get through Derek Roque. And now here comes Davis. Carrasco. Looking for Sundquist. Tries to spin it back to the middle. Flores Thomas. Sundquist. Defended. A high shot. Not too far over the crossbar. Cole Barrett, good effort.
Nice shot there by Cole Barrett and some nice ball movement from Davis Legacy. They worked it wide. They're stretching the Glens a little bit, forcing them to stretch towards the flank. And then this touch was a great touch towards goal. He struck it well, cleanly off the laces. Unfortunately, just got under it a little bit too much. He had the space, though, and the confidence from outside the 18 to strike it. You want to take a chance, especially at this point of a scoreless match. Absolutely. If you feel confident to take that on goal, go for it.
Guzman left side, bumped off, stays with it. It'll be a throw-in. Well, Concentric is a private risk consultancy firm that specializes in strategic security and intelligence services for physical and cyber needs. It's your journey with Concentric Advisors. Into the 67th minute. And another substitution for the Glens as number 17 Kevin Estrada enters the match. The Richmond native, Cal State Bakersfield, and Max Hamelink comes out.
I'm surprised to see Max Hamelink come out. He, to me, has been the player who's really been controlling the midfield for this Glens team. Hamelink was outstanding throughout this match, and he's a player that Coach Saucedo also is really high on because of that composure I talked about, the ability to distribute, switch fields, great technical abilities, and ability to work in tight spaces. It'll be interesting to see if Estrada can step up and really fill that role of creating and distributing from the middle of the pitch.
This will be a corner for the Glens. Their second of the half. Let's see if they can create a good look here from the near side.
Corner kick's so important. Someone has to get on the end of one of these. And now, like I mentioned, the last corner, they've got to be really careful about the delivery on this.
That one kept lower.
Thought that was in for a second there.
Tough to tell sometimes
yeah,
from our
when
angle.
it bounces on the far side past the post, it's hard to tell if it's on the inside or outside of the post. But a better job there on the delivery of that corner kick with the wind at your back, as we've seen both teams do. It's really easy to overhit it and end up sending that ball out of bounds. Better to keep it low, better to send it across the middle of the 6, give a chance for a teammate to possibly create some chaos inside the box.
Davis trying to counterattack. They have numbers and a good defensive play to slow things down for the Glens.
Glens almost averted disaster right there. It was a 4-on-3 situation for Davis Legacy, and just a really well-read and timed interception by Jack Singer. He did a good job of both pressuring the ball, but also being in that passing lane to not allow Davis Legacy to lay it off easily. That's exactly what you want to do in that type of situation where you're looking at a counterattack and your numbers down.
Good battle near midfield. And Ruben Flores-Thomas comes away with it for Davis Legacy. On the attack again into the 18. A shot blocked. Davis still in possession. Carrasco trying to get around his defender. Estrada staying right with him. Crossed and knocked away. That'll be a corner.
Glens just averting disaster there. It was awfully close. They need to be a little bit tighter in their marking in and around the 18. Davis Legacy's been able to make a couple and connect a couple of passes there where I feel like someone should have been a little bit tighter on those players in such dangerous positions around the 18. Now we have a corner kick situation for Davis Legacy. Which team is going to be the one where someone is going to step up and finish one of these opportunities?
Carrasco will take it. Keeps it low. Headed through. And that will not be the time that ends up in the back of the net.
Better job still by Davis Legacy after some of their corners in the first half that were really overhit, lofted well past the edge of the back post. Keeping it low, a little bit towards the middle of the 6 or even the front post isn't a bad option. Someone could potentially just flick that one on net and create a little misdirection that throws off the keeper to put it in. Better execution on the corners here in the second half.
Giving chase, Kevin Estrada. Good ball. And knocked off his foot by Flores-Thomas, but that will be a corner.
Another corner kick opportunity for the Glens. I feel like we're just going back and forth from side to side with the corners at this point. Someone has to step up and bury one of these. As I mentioned, better execution on some of the balls being played in on the corner for both teams. Now it's a matter of someone getting on the end of one, having that killer instinct inside the 18, in addition to being able to time that run as the ball is coming in.
Estrada keeps it low near post. Poked high in the air. And well defended by Davis.
Another key of some of these corners are coming in a little bit lower, a little bit more towards the near post, and maybe there is a deflection, a ball popped up in the air. Winning the second ball is going to be super critical for both these teams. If you're able to get on the end of a second ball, somehow keep a play alive, that's when the chaos inside the box can sometimes end up in a ball bouncing in or someone getting a foot on it. Defensively, you have to win those second balls and clear them as far away as you can. Don't let the ball keep bouncing around the 18. So it'll be interesting to see if one of these teams can execute on that corner kick, because they're both creating so many chances at this point.
A little slip there by Garibay, but he was still able to get it back to midfield. Now here come the Glens. Estrada can't quite get there. Glens 2-1 on the season. They're coming off their first loss of the year last time out against Monterey Bay. Davis Legacy 0-3. Both of these teams now so close to at least getting 1 point as we're into the 73rd minute. Can one team find the back of the net and make it 3 points?
Now, one thing we've talked a little bit about chemistry that has been an advantage for the Glens both last season and then again this season is that they do bring in a number of players who competed together at the same college. Specifically, USF has been a really critical piece to the Glens story, because bringing in several players who competed together at the collegiate level automatically creates those built-in connections, those players who know each other especially when you have a couple of them in the starting lineup, it makes it much easier to develop chemistry when you've got even 3, 4, 5 players who already know each other well and know how to play together.
Here's some space for Max Chrétien. 4 goals this year. Down the left side, and it rolls away, well defended. And Davis able to avoid the trouble.
And as we're talking about the W League game coming up for the Glens women's side, it's interesting their coach Mike Sharabi mentioned the same story, that it makes a huge difference for them in chemistry in having players who competed together at the club level.
Now, we've talked about it on the broadcast today, Kyle. I mean, chemistry, I think, is really important in this league in particular, early in the season when you're seeing mixing parts, players joining teams throughout. Here's a chance for Davis again, crossed in front, and it goes through.
And for those who aren't familiar with some of the Glens players, Cheyenne Charlagi played at USF, now has since graduated. You've got Max Hamelink, you've got Dominic Valdivia, Nathan Simeon, who is out today after a knock to the head. So you just look up and down the roster, and you've got several players. Keon Jones, who hasn't entered the match yet, but is here on the bench. This is a team that's pretty heavy with USF players, but that makes a huge difference in chemistry.
Cody Sundquist with some space. Cross too far. It goes all the way through. And now Nathaniel Carrasco, who's really been all over the pitch here in this second half.
Also, I think I've mentioned it, Max Chrétien, a USF player as well. I know I mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, but just as I'm listing players, I'm like, gosh, I'm going to forget someone. So you're looking at 5, 6, multiple players who are from USF.
Absolutely. Ramon Munoz as well. Let's see if the Glens can get one. Coming up on the 76th minute, and we have our first card. A yellow. I think it went against Cole Barrett.
There certainly has been some physical play here throughout this match. It's been interesting to watch. Both teams really battling, and that's exactly what you expect at this level. USL 2 is bringing together many of the top collegiate players from Northern California, some of the best prospects coming up in different academies, as you see some of these teens and upper high school players competing. But these are all players who play at a high level and come in ready to play physical.
Here's Dom Valdivia to take the free kick. Puts it into the box, and it's cleared back out to Valdivia. We've got gusts of wind coming on and off here at Skyline College. And now back to midfield, and now Davis trying to attack in transition. Flores Thomas past the goalkeeper, and it's in the back of the net. Cooper Johnson pleading his case for the Glens, but a goal for Davis Legacy, and they strike first.
This is a tough one to stomach if you're the Glens, because once again, it is a counterattack that creates that opening for Davis Legacy. It's been going on all afternoon. In the first half, some of their best chances created in transition. Davis Legacy has been doing an excellent job of recognizing those moments when they have numbers up, when the Glens are out of position and they're getting the ball direct. They're breaking lines quickly. That's a great touch around the goalkeeper. And then really good composure to just finish that one on the ground. Well executed by Davis Legacy, but throughout the afternoon, it's been those transition moments when they are the most dangerous. Great recognition all around to get the ball forward quickly, to break lines, and to look for that chance on goal, while the Glens are unable to get behind the ball and to get back in their shape.
Ruben Flores Thomas with his first goal of the year. And Davis Legacy have the lead in the 78th minute.
And if you watch Thomas Flores, just a great touch around Johnson, who is coming out from goal to try to stymie that breakaway opportunity. Just great composure in that moment.
Well, let's see how the Glens respond, knowing they're short on time to try and at least find the equalizer. There is still time to do it. And it's a situation now where you don't want to panic, but you do want to increase the sense of urgency. Here come Davis again. A late sliding defensive play, and that foul going to be called against Davis.
It's interesting, this match for the Glens, a little bit similar to the game against Monterey Bay, where it's not that they've played poorly. The Glens have created chances. It's just been a matter of scoring on one of those chances and some of the execution inside the 18. Certainly would be a frustrating result to walk away with the 1-0 loss for the second straight match when you feel like you've played well.
79th minute. Here's a long shot from outside the box, handled by Garibay. Well, for the latest in Bay Area sports, check out Sports Night Live, which airs weeknights at 10:45 p.m. on Cron 4. You might see highlights from today on there. See if perhaps a late Glens goal could end up on that show. Sports Night Live every weeknight at 10:45 p.m. on Cron 4.
As we approach the 80th minute here, the Glens down a goal looking for the equalizer. Expect to see them throw more numbers forward to keep their lines higher, to press on this back line much, much tougher and more intensely than they have so far this match. And they're going to have to look for times to play more direct because they desperately need that equalizer here in the final 10. For Davis Legacy, as they're looking to defend this 1-0 lead.
Some nice dribbling. And the Glens were looking for a whistle, didn't get it.
For Davis Legacy, as they look to defend this 1-0 lead, expect to see them play in a lower block. They're going to stay much more compact, keep numbers behind the ball. When they do win it, send it up to the corner flag, try to hold it, burn some of that time off the clock. That's the strategy, as you're protecting a lead in what's been a hard-fought game in the final 10 minutes.
Into the 81st minute, and Davis Legacy protecting a 1-goal lead. Ruben Flores Thomas scoring in the 77th minute. Davis looking for their first win of the year. Cody Sundquist now over for Washington and cleared out. Well, the Glens still with time and the wind's at their back. Can they find the equalizer here in the final minutes? Estrada has it knocked away, and this will be a throw-in for San Francisco.
The potential of a counterattack or transition situation was emerging for the Glens. They did have numbers up, and those are the moments where you have to play with a ton of urgency and play a little bit more direct and look to take it on goal to create that dangerous chance. Well, you do have a numerical advantage. Unfortunately, that touch, I don't know necessarily that I like Estrada touching that back inside into the defender. He could have maybe tried to go end line and drop it back and let one of his teammates run onto it. Unfortunately, he just lost that ball in what could have been a chance created for the Glens on goal.
'82nd minute. 1-0 Davis Legacy. And Chrétien was offside. Good effort, but just a step too far.
Not a bad idea by the Glens with the wind at their backs to now look to play more direct, down a goal here in the last 7 minutes. Look to create a transition opportunity or a breakaway yourselves. However, Chrétien has to be super careful about timing his run. You cannot get ahead of the ball. You can't get that step behind the defender. You're going to get called every time on the offsides. You have to time that so perfectly in order to get that breakaway that they're looking for.
Glens attacking Valdivia. Chrétien back for Valdivia, the USF teammates. Try through the box. Estrada out of his reach.
Not a bad idea by Iniguez to try to just send one towards the far post, bouncing ball towards the back of the 6, see if one of your teammates can run on and crash. Davis Legacy now getting a lot of numbers behind the ball. When they're keeping more compact, it's going to be tougher to break them down inside the 18. They're going to be expecting it and trying to defend well. So now the challenge for the Glens is how do you try to get them out of shape and create that space in behind. There you can see he was kind of looking, just trying to send something across the box to create a little bit of chaos, which is a good decision in this situation where they're at in the game.
Chrétien for Valdivia, a little give and go. It's onside. Estrada, long shot, and it goes wide.
That was the right decision by Estrada. He turned and had all the time in the world. For some reason, his defender dropped off, and Estrada had that clean look on goal. Yes, he was 20 yards out, but if you feel confident with that strike, why not take it?
Didn't miss by much.
Didn't.
This will be a Davis throw-in. We've played just about 84 minutes. Only goal of the match belonging to Ruben Flores Thomas here in the second half for Davis Legacy. Don't expect a ton of stoppage time, maybe another minute like we saw in the first half. They're battling for the ball, and it'll be a foul against Davis. I've been impressed, Kylan, after Davis scored that goal, as maybe another interception here. They haven't really sat back. They've still been aggressive, and they've controlled plenty of the possession even since then.
Yeah, Davis Legacy hasn't been sitting quite in as low of a block as you would expect for a team that's trying to protect a 1-0 lead with less than 10 minutes to go. They still have been holding their line fairly high, at least a middle block, and they have been going at goal when they win it.
Here's a cross from Chrétien in the 18. Estrada's shot goes wide.
Good look once again. Kevin Estrada getting some chances there inside and around the edge of the 18 for the Glens. Good shot on goal.
Good
Forced
save
a
there
tough
by
save.
Garibay.
Once again, it is a corner kick chance for the Glens. Someone get on the end of this. Good cross into the box, bouncing ball. That's a tough one to execute. He did a good job of completely swinging his hips around and doing almost a 180 to get on the end of that.
Dangerous corner. It's loose. And it's in. And we're tied. In the 86th minute, the Glens have evened it.
Right on cue. The Glens come up huge on a corner kick. They've been doing everything right to create pressure, to earn corner kicks all game long. Finally, on this chance, they execute. Someone gets on the end of the ball and shows that killer instinct inside and around the 6. Great job by the Glens to just create chaos inside the box, send a ball into a dangerous spot, and then to be relentless and looking to get on the end of the second, third ball. Do not give up on that, and they didn't, which led to that goal. Now we're tied up, and this is going to be a very exciting last 5-6 minutes, depending on how much stoppage time is added here.
Boy, it was chaos in the box, and there were several Glens near it. Don't have an official announcement on the goal yet. But either way, the match is even 1-1.
Really huge response there from the Glens. Going down a goal, they have not given up, continued to try to weather the storm and also create their own chances.
And here they come again. Shot blocked. Glens were looking for a handball. Now Davis coming back the other way, and good transition defense from the Glens. 88th minute, 1-1. They're going to credit that goal to Cheyenne Sharalagi. Check that, Max Chrétien. So 5 goals now this season for Chrétien. He's scored 5 of the 7 for the Glens. Can they get one more? Headed back to Garibay.
some confusion even amongst the stats team about who scored that goal. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who gets on the end of it. The Glens got that equalizer because they did a good job of sending a corner into a dangerous spot, creating chaos inside the box, and then having multiple bodies in and around the 6, crashing, looking to chase down that rebound on the second and third ball. It was truly a team effort. Although someone eventually got that last touch on it, there were several Glens just crowding that box and making it really difficult for Davis Legacy to try to clear that out. A lot of credit to the team effort to just create chaos around the 6 and to chase down and be relentless in going after the second and third ball.
Absolutely. As we said, it was chaos in the box. Several Glens there, and they refused to be denied.
Well, Chrétien ended up earning the goal. How about that? He has been amongst the top 5 in USL 2 in goals scored. This should continue to move him up the ranks after getting another one here today. 5th goal on the season.
Free kick for Davis Legacy. Well defended by the Glens. Well, at least coming into action today, 5 goals would tie him for the USL League 2 lead, depending on what has happened in other action today. But a terrific start to the season for Chrétien, no doubt. Barrett. Christopher Cervantes puts it into the box, and the diving header from Washington was a close call.
That was just beautiful delivery on that cross by Davis Legacy. And then Washington did a great job of timing that run and laying out, putting his body on the line for his team, trying to put that diving header into the back of the net. Not easy to execute when you are just flying, laying out towards goal, but he did an excellent job. Watch this cross, the placement, just beautiful in front of Washington so that he could dive on. He opted to make contact with his head instead of trying to run through it with his body. And I don't mind that there because it's a lot more difficult with that ball flying out of the air to try to catch it on your foot. Diving and getting that momentum going forward with your head is a great decision. Unfortunately, just didn't quite get over it, sent it over the bar, but really pretty cross sent in, and then a great effort laying out for it and putting your body on the line to get on the end of one.
2 minutes of stoppage time. As we have played 90, 1-1, Glens and Davis Legacy. Davis looking for its first result of the year at 0-3. Glens are 2-1. Both teams right now in position for a point unless someone can find the go-ahead goal. Here's a chance in the box. It's still loose. Davis coach is screaming for a penalty. Now a shot from outside the 18, handled by Johnson. Tense moments.
What a finish we are getting here at Skyline College. So much fun to watch. Both teams creating a lot of chances. Both teams desperate, not to get the 1 point, but to go after 3. You love to see it.
We've played 1 minute of stoppage time. That one sent through to Garibay, and he collects it. Another minute of stoppage time remaining. Can someone find a late goal? Cervantes taken down. That's going to be a yellow card. And now a little bump. A couple of 16s not happy with each other. Cervantes and Charalagi. So Charalagi gets the yellow. He's not happy about it. 1 yellow card each side today.
Yeah, that's a possible breakaway situation, so that's where you're going to see that yellow card being pulled out when it is a player going one-on-one, possibly the farthest player up the field or the last defender. Whenever there's a foul committed in those situations, you're looking at a possible yellow.
Free kick for Christopher Cervantes.
Huge chance here for Legacy.
Could be the last one of the afternoon as it's sent out by the Glens. Maybe one last chance for San Francisco. Chrétien in the open field. He's tackled, and that's going to be a foul. And a yellow. Davis is furious, but I'm not sure why. That was a pretty clear foul. And it's going to be a free kick for the Glens.
So the argument is that both of those slide tackles were similar, but in general, a slide tackle from behind, also catching the legs there as you watch it happen, that is a foul. That is a situation where the ref should be blowing the whistle. A slide tackle from behind where you make contact with the player with the ball's feet or legs, that's a clear call.
So one
I think
last
the question
chance
mark
for the
is
Glens.
that last sliding tackle going the other way where there was a Glens player sliding from behind. They feel like that could have or should have also been a call.
We'll see if the Glens can find a late one. Valdivia is going to take this free kick. Remember, the wind is at his back. Puts it into the box. It's loose. Shot is blocked. And that will do it. A hard-fought 1-1 tie. Both teams had lots of chances. The goalkeepers were phenomenal. And I think both probably not the happiest to settle for 1 point, but for Davis, it's their first of the year, and the Glens now 2-1-1.
This was a really fun match to watch, a really competitive match to watch. Both teams had their fair share of chances. Both teams did a good job of creating in and around the 18. It was a matter of execution, and that's the reason why this wasn't a higher scoring game. I feel like this could have been a 3-3 result. Either team could have had up to 4 goals, as there were some really, really direct and clean looks on goal. Credit to both keepers for making a couple of nice saves. Both keepers really held up well and were able to weather some of the storm and some of the pressure that was being thrown at them. Interesting to see how both these teams will react and respond to this result, as both, I think, feel like they could have scored a couple. At the end of the day, though, the Glens played well. I like the ball movement. They came out really strong from kickoff at the beginning of the match. They maintained possession in the midfield. They were working the ball wide. They were working the ball around. The only area for improvement really was defending in transition. Those were the opportunities where Davis Legacy was the most dangerous, when they were able to take advantage of counterattacks, get numbers up situations, and then look to create on goal. Yes, they had some possession, especially as the game went on in the second half, in the final third, where Davis Legacy was able to create, but some of those breakaway chances really were where they were the most dangerous, which was transition. Glens got to look to get back and try to get into shape a little bit quicker. I mentioned when you're a team that possesses, that's a little bit tougher because you're up the field so far, you're stretching and using the wide spaces as you're in possession of the ball. It's just you've got to be careful when you are dispossessed. Davis Legacy got better as this match went on, and credit to them. They played much better in the second half. They were able to possess more and connect more passes that ultimately created some chances down in the final third.
Well, that was a fun one. 1-1 our final. We'll take a quick break, and then it'll be our post-game show presented by Liga X. Our final once again today. 1-1, SF Glens and Davis Legacy.
He had 3 clearances and an interception.
It's hard to believe the Olympic Club Foundation has been around for 30 years of supporting youth athletics within the Bay Area communities.
That's a whole generation that we are changing.
They provided the funds that allowed the courts at McLaren Park here in San Francisco to be resurfaced.
There are hundreds of kids in Visitation Valley who are getting a chance to play on those courts.
We're supporting golf in East Palo Alto and swimming in Richmond and lacrosse in Oakland.
Our newest initiative is to build girls varsity lacrosse programs in every high school in Oakland. And the Olympic Club, just being there consistently, has helped us get to this point where we're going to be adding another 175 girls to our program.
It's really exciting to see all kids have that opportunity, especially women.
The support we provide is a big relief from the parents knowing that they're giving the kids opportunity to learn new things.
Congratulations, Olympic Club Foundation, on 30 years of investing in youth sports in the Bay Area.
30 years of giving wings to youth. Fantastic. Thank you, Olympic Club Foundation.
Back at Skyline College, a 1-1 draw today between the San Francisco Glens and Davis Legacy. What an entertaining match it was. Goals in the second half. Ruben Flores-Thomas for Davis Legacy. Max Chrétien with his 5th of the year to get the Glens the 1-1 result. As Kylan Mills getting set to interview our Liga X player of the game, and that is Jack Singer. And it looks like Kylan is ready, so we'll send it over to Kylan and Jack.
She doesn't have the mic on. She doesn't have the mic on. She doesn't have the mic on.
And finally, I think we're going to have a little handoff of the Liga X bag. Awesome to see that. And now we're going to have a couple coming up. We'll send it back over to Ben.
All right, Kylan, thank you, and congratulations to Jack Singer, an assist on that tying goal in the final minutes of this one to get the results for San Francisco. The Glens and Davis Legacy playing to a 1-1 tie. Davis Legacy now 0-3-1 on the year. San Francisco Glens are now 2-1-1. And Kylan will shortly be joined by today's head associate coach, Javier Ayala Hill. I'm sure he'll have some good comments on this matchup between a couple of Northern California rivals. For that, let's take a quick break.
I am a Coast Guardsman.
I serve the people of the United States.
I will protect them.
I will save them.
I am their shield.
We are.
We are.
We are.
We created Carlsberg 0-0 because even the best things can be better with alcohol-free beer. Clean one-handed backhand is better. Balancing stuff is better. Whatever this is better. We created Carlsberg. Skipping your own ad is better. Parking in space, better. So, can the best alcohol-free beer make good things better? Probably.
When are we going? Okay, that's what's on your QS. All right, cool. All right, and we are joined now here on the post-game show by acting head coach Javier Ayala Hill. Thanks for being with us. Your team was relentless after going down 1-0. You create some chaos in the box, finally get on the end of a corner with that goal in the 86th minute. What impressed you most about the way your team responded to going down a goal?
Yeah, I think it's resilience. I mean, we kept going after them. We had plenty of chances in the first half where we could have been up and we went down, which is always unfortunate, but we found a way to get back into the game, got a goal in, and got a point.
What did you think about the execution on that corner kick specifically?
Well, I think we've been working on that in training a lot, so we do have dangerous players in the box, and I'm just glad that we were able to pick up that second ball and put it in the back of the net, because I know it's been an issue the last couple of games, so I'm glad we got the goal in.
Davis Legacy was really looking to get numbers forward in transition, put a lot of pressure on your back line. How do you feel like the defense weathered that storm?
Well, I thought they played well. I thought for most of the game they held their own, and yes, they got in a couple of times in behind with their speed, and I'm really proud of the guys that how they played, and of course they put one in, but that's part of the game.
Something that Coach Saucedo mentioned going into this game was really trying to focus with your group about being clinical in the final third. How would you evaluate some of those close chances that they just couldn't quite get in?
Yeah, it's still a bit frustrating that we didn't put away our chances early on in the game. We could have easily had 2 or 3 goals leading into the second half. But that's something we're just going to keep working on in training. Hopefully we execute next week.
Speaking of next week, USL 2's play continues. What is the outlook going into another tough matchup against SF City?
Yeah, obviously that's a rivalry between the two clubs, and it's always exciting matches to coach. I've previous experience when I was with the Glens years back playing against SF City. Those are always fun and entertaining for the fans to be a part of.
All right. I much appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the broadcast. We'll be right back.
Nesquik, you got a strawberry back there? That's chocolate. That's vanilla. Quit playing. Now we're talking. Bunnies up, buddy.
Here's to that classic, delicious taste. Bunnies up, buddy.
We are missing poses.
You mean passes?
No, poses. The secret to winning is to pause.
I'm taking a step back.
What's the reason?
Sometimes you gotta stop to be, an actual human.
Take a minute to celebrate, right?
Or 20.
Pause is power.
Nesquik, you got a strawberry back there? That's chocolate. That's vanilla. Quit playing. Now we're talking. Bunnies up, buddy.
Here's to that classic, delicious taste. Bunnies up, buddy.
It looks like I'm going to read one more.
Yeah, there might be a sponsor for this.
Back at Skyline College, where our final score from our first match of the day, the San Francisco Glens and Davis Legacy playing to a 1-1 tie. A couple of late goals in this one. Ruben Flores-Thomas in the 77th minute to give Davis the lead. As you take a look at the highlights from today, the equalizer scored in the 86th minute for the Glens, the 5th goal of the year by Max Chrétien. And Kylan, we kind of talked about it all afternoon. Only 2 goals today, but it could have been a whole lot more.
It's interesting talking to Coach Ayala Hill for the Glens. Some frustration certainly after this one. Him and Jack Singer, who I talked with just now in the post-game defender for the Glens, felt like this team could have scored more. I think you could say that about both sides, but the Glens certainly played well. They created chances, as we're watching here in the second half. Also in the first half, that one was a nice save defensively for the Glens. But here's Hamelink on another great chance that was well saved. Just a little bit of frustration, I think, in hoping that they can do a better job moving forward of putting more balls in the back of the net and executing just a little bit better in and around the 18. We talked about it going into this matchup, and I still feel like that's the storyline for this Glens team. Some really nice possession. I thought defensively they did weather the pressure that Davis Legacy applied. It just was a matter of executing on some of these chances that you're watching. They had some really clean looks. That was a nice shot, just maybe a foot outside the crossbar. Not a bad look, low and away from distance. Just a matter of trying to translate strong play into the result.
It's just, watching these teams, both of them, I think it's clearly a work in progress. And as we sort of talked about with the chemistry and the players coming in and out for each match, early in the year, it really is going to be sort of a work in progress. As you see the goal here for Ruben Flores-Thomas, good patience getting around the goalkeeper, Johnson, and nothing but open net in front of him. We're getting pretty close to the equalizer now on this corner kick coming up for the San Francisco Glens.
The Glens did a good job of just having a ton of players in and around the 6, right around the goal, just waiting to pounce on that second ball, that third ball. They didn't give up on it, and they forced their way, bullied their way into the back of the net. Initially, the officials and stats crew over here couldn't even tell who put that in and got the last touch, but it doesn't matter when you're so desperate for that equalizer. It's a good sign when you've got multiple bodies in and around the box causing that chaos that turns into a goal.
No question about it. Well, don't forget, this is just half our doubleheader. We've got another match coming up for you at approximately 3:30 as you look at the statistics from our first one. How even is that? 11-11 with the shots, 4-3 shots on goal. And most importantly, 1-1 on the scoreboard. But again, that second match of the day will be the USL Women's League, the undefeated San Francisco Glens at 4-0, taking on Stockton Cargo SC, 2-2 on the year. And again, that will be at 3:30. You can see the bottom of the screen too. The next streaming games for the San Francisco Glens will be on Saturday, June 3rd. And don't forget, for the latest in Bay Area sports, to check out Sports Night Live, which airs weeknights at 10:45 p.m. on Cron 4. You might see highlights from today on there. Sports Night Live every weeknight at 10:45 p.m. on Cron 4. Well, that'll do it for our coverage of this first match of the day, but don't go anywhere. We've got great footage, stadium groundbreaking video, and our women's pregame show to begin.